Good morning. Right, today, hopefully, we will finish. Well, you don't never finish, but our involvement in the first of the 13 Ikrim will end, and we'll move on to Yesod Hasheni. But before we do so we saw a large part of the Rambam in Moreh Nevuchim, Chelik Gimel, Perek Nun Aleph, which is source number 19 on your sheets. We did a lot of it yesterday, and we're going to move on to the last bit of what he says there, which is an astounding chidush and an insight into his approach to dveikus, what it means being connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Remember, we saw yesterday. What did we see yesterday? We saw. Sorry, you're right. You're right. I stand chastised and corrected. Thank you for pointing it out. Senior moment. What did we see 2 days ago? We saw that the primary method and mechanism through which a person is dovek to HaKadosh Baruch Hu into the Rambam is through the seichel, right? Through the seichel, and to the extent, and he's going to extend this idea shortly. But before we do that, I want to learn with you a tiny piece of Nefesh HaChaim, possibly, I don't know, arguably the most well-known piece of Nefesh HaChaim, okay? Because it comes, and this is source 20, and then we'll go back. But it's just a short quote here. Nefesh HaChaim Shah Gimel Perek Yud Beis. And the reason why it is so well-known is because it is often quoted in various stories of the escape of the Soloveitchik family, the Briskerovs family during the Holocaust, and it's invoked in many other contexts. And it's known sort of colloquially as the Nefesh HaChaim, the Segula of Ein Oid Milvadoi. That if a person, you're nodding knowingly, even with my reading glasses, I can see that. That if at the moment that a person is totally dovuk to the concept and the idea of ein oid milvadoi, nobody and nothing has any intrinsic power in the world, and if you not just think it but believe it and feel it totally, at that moment no harm can befall you. That is how it is generally quoted and known. Let's learn it inside and see. So just a small piece. Source 20 here. Nefesh HaChaim Gimel Perek Yud Beis. Ube'emes hu inyan gadoil usgula nifla'a, says Reb Chaim Volozhiner. La hasir ulevatel me'alav kol dinin u'ritzonos acherim shelo yuchlu lishleit by. This will cancel and remove any din and the rotzon of any other person or thing or entity that wants to harm you or hurt you, and they cannot touch you. Hashem hu ha'elokim ha'amiti ve'ein oid milvado yizbarach shum koyach ba'olam. Nobody and nothing has any innate power in the world other than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chol ha'olamos klal v'hakol molei rak achdusoi ha'poshut yisbarach shmoi. Really, the only thing that has any intrinsic imperative essence and existence is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, u'mevatel b'liboy bitul gomor, ve'enoi mashgiach klal al shum koyach v'rotzen ba'olam. I'm not afraid. I don't accept the authority of any other entity other than the Rabbeinu Shalom. U'meshabed u'medabek toyhar machshavtoi rak la'odon yochid Baruch Hu. And at that moment in time, my entire being is focused on this concept. Kain yaspik hu yizbarach biyodoi, that the Rabbeinu Shalom will reciprocate. Shemimela yizbatlu me'alav kol hakochos v'haratzonos sheba'olam shelo yuchlu lifol bo shum davar klal. It seems to be, and I want to add a point in a minute, just popped into my mind, and I'll say it. It seems to be, and the chiddush here is not only in the concept itself, but what is also equally astounding is the immediacy. The immediacy. It's instantaneous. Other madregas you have to work up to. Now this is this is a high madrega, but if you are able to muster it up, there is an immediate reciprocity. And Rabbi Yisrael Elia Weintraub Zatzal, this is what just popped into my head, says that's pshat. V'sein socha toiv l'chol haboitchim b'shimcha be'emes. What's socha toiv? Various. You need to know what socha toiv. There's bad socha, or there's socha. Socha toiv l'chol. So, and really a separate shiur. It doesn't matter if you have other averos, but one of the, according to the Yalkut, Chafetz Chaim, that you can even be a Rosha, potentially. Pasuk says in Tehillim, Pasuk's gone out of my head. 1 minute. I remember the Chazal, but I don't remember the Pasuk. Rabim machayvim la Rosha. Many ailments will befall a Rosha. V'haboiteach b'Hashem, chesed yisay v'venu. But somebody who has bitachon in Hashem will be surrounded by chesed. Usually, like most psukim in Tehillim, where you have this sort of schema in the psukim, you have a contrast. You have two parts. We are contrasting the Rosha and the Boteach B'Hashem. They are two different people. That's how it would be generally the way to read and learn and understand the pasuk. Rabbi machovim la Rosha. Many bad things will happen to a Rosha, whereas the Boteach B'Hashem will have chesed. And that would make sense. And by the way, this would seem to be the hallmark of the identity of what it means to be a tzaddik. A tzaddik is somebody who is Boteach B'Hashem. Prove it to me. Ala tzaddikim v'ala chasidim v'al ziknei amcha beis Yisrael prit ha'sofer v'al geir tzaddik v'aleinu yemu rachamech Hashem elikeinu v'sein tzachot evil chala boitchem shimcha be'emes v'simcha kenim ha'im levesh kivcha v'tach v'barchat v'Hashem mishal ha'miftach ala tzaddikim. That's the bracha of tzaddikim. Ala tzaddikim ala chasidim. It's topped and tailed with tzaddikim. And what is the focus? That is what it means to be a tzaddik. So that now, go back to the pasuk. The pasuk makes sense. There is a tension, there's a contrast between the two groups of people. Rabbi machovim la Rosha, whereas the Boteach B'Hashem is surrounded by chesed. Says the Yalkut, and the Chafetz Chaim quotes it famously. You're nodding very knowingly. Afilu, no, says the Yalkut. We're talking about the same person. Afilu Rosha, haBoteach B'Hashem, chesed yisay v'venu. It's the same person. You could be a Rosha. How you can be a Rosh and have bitachon is another story. Not for now. But you can be a Rosh and still be Boteach B'Hashem. Chesed yisay v'venu. You are surrounded by chesed. Says Rabbi Yisrael Elia, that's what that means is that to the extent that a person is able at a moment in time to have genuine bitachon, to that extent you are surrounded by chesed. And it's immediate. The same socha toiv, because we've already enumerated ala tzadikim, vala chasidim, val ziknei amcha, val pleitas Ephraim, val geirei tzedek, va'aleinu. Who's left? Who's left? You know who's left? A Rosha who is Boteach. Therefore, v'sein socha toiv l'chol haboitchem b'shimcha be'emes. And that often you will find that word kol. It's in Purim we see this a lot. Yeah, anybody who has bitachon in you. No, it's.
And then he's saying Aleinu. He's the Rosh himself.
Sorry.
If it's a Rosh saying Mishmescha,
yeah,
he's saying Aleinu.
That's Aleinu. It's not Aleinu. Aleinu Kol Yisrael al Tzadikim. Va'amech kulam Tzadikim. Good, nice try. It was good. No, good. So we find this theme many times. We find it. There are other proofs of this as well. Where I saying Shabbat Kol, anybody who is Boteach. Yeah. So that's pshat in this Nefesh HaChaim, right? That somebody can. So Rabbi Yisrael Elia said that's pshat. The saying socha toiv l'chol haboitchem shimcha be'emes. Socha toiv means it's immediate. It's immediate. It's socha toiv, and you don't need. You might not even fall into the group of tzaddikim, chasidim, etc. But if you are able, and to the extent that you are able at that moment in time, to be boiteach boitchem b'shimcha be'emes, then there is socha toiv. It's immediate, and you are shielded and protected. Okay, that's the Nefesh HaChaim. Let's go back to the Rambam. Nefesh HaChaim was slightly after the Rambam. Yeah, well, about 700-800 years. Yeah, 700.
Which one?
So we're going back to source 19, and to finish off the what we started 2 days ago, and you'll see why I did it. Let me find the point. He is going to say, I'll let this cat out of the bag. I think I'll let you be the judge of it as we learn this. I think he says what the Nefesh HaChaim says very, very clearly, and people, I don't know why they quote it as sort of being the Nefesh HaChaim Segula. I think it's Mefurish here, virtually in the Rambam. Let's have a look. Okay. Top of page 12. Second line. V'yirali. We're going to go through this page. V'yirali, says the Rambam. Ki asher chayev hayois elu ahoar bo oimdim al tachlis ze hashleimus etzel Hashem v'hashgochos aleim masmedes afilu be'es his askom leharbois hamomoin. That when people, so we've been talking about the different groups of people, when they are able to focus on Hashem, even when they're at business, Rotzelema be'es hamire va'avodas v'adom v'anogas habayis hoyom mipnei shetachlis kavanosam hoysa b'chol ha'maisim haheim liskar v'Hashem yisbarach kir v'godel. Their tachlis, we're talking about the Avos and Moshe, that's the four. The Avos and Moshe was to get close to Hashem kir v'godel. Ki tachlis kavanas kol yimei chayeyem lahamtzi umo sheteda Hashem v'tavdeyu. They were Avos. Everything they were doing was to bring into the world an ummah that would know Hashem and serve Him. Ki yadativ l'man Hashem savas mon of his beis ha'achra. Hinei his bayr lecha ki kavanas kolish kadlusam hoysal lefarsem yichud Hashem ba'olam. Their entire being and their purpose was to disseminate, to proliferate, to broadcast